Um, so today, oh well, I wear glasses. If you didn't know, I do. Anyway, it's too far away for me to see without him. So, yeah. So today I'm gonna just talk about how, well, sort of how to know if you're trans or non-binary. Just from like personal experiences and experiences that I've heard from other people. So not really based on like facts, but more like what other people have gone through, but like that is mostly gonna be the case for some people. So it's just like, just what happened to some people might happen to you, and then you'll know. But so stuff like that. This can happen at really any age, and like, don't feel bad if you're older and just now figuring yourself out, because there are so many reasons you could have not done this or not found yourself until now, and a lot of those aren't your fault at all. And so like, don't feel like you can't be yourself or you are invalid because you're like an adult and just now figuring out yourself, or like you're older than some people that you've talked to and just now figuring yourself out. And don't feel invalid or like you aren't yourself if you are younger and just not figuring out yourself, and just figuring out yourself when you're younger, but because that's also valid. It's like any age you can figure yourself out at any age. There are like some 50-year-old people out there who just figure out that they're trans and I'm undergoing transition, and there are 30-year-olds and 18-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 13-year-olds and 10-year-olds. It doesn't matter your age, and don't think that just because you're an adult you can't be trans or you can't be queer or you can't be any micro label that a lot of youth are using, because you're still valid. Anyway, that was a little disclaimer, just in case you are feeling invalid based on your age. Age is a social construct, so don't feel invalid based on that. And you're not invalid in any way. You are completely valid, but that's the thing, just there's completely no point of feeling invalid about your age and when you figure yourself out. I know that it does hurt, like, to know that you didn't know before, and like, why didn't I find myself before? But it's like a lot of people go through that, so you're not alone in feeling that way. So at the beginning, I think like when you're beginning to like, if you have body dysphoria, you're beginning to feel that more often or something, or like get uncomfortable with yourself in some way, or if you had social dysphoria and you didn't know what it was, like, or if you are experiencing like feeling uncomfortable when people call you your assigned pronouns or your assigned name, or just like gender you in any way associated with your birth sex, and that's really common. So don't feel like that you're not. This like can mean anything, and it's like if you're feeling this and it just intensifies over time, then you like start questioning yourself, like, that's perfectly valid, of course, and because that's how you get places. You question yourself and you question others, and so that's how you find yourself. So like, experience experiencing like dysphoria at the beginning and not knowing what it is. I feel like that happens to a lot of people, and then it's like once you figure out that like you can actually be like trans or non-binary or something, then you're like, whoa, this is a whole new world. Like, it's kind of crazy. But anyway, so like at the beginning when you're trying to find your label or something, if you prefer one, then of course if you'd like, when you're questioning, or you can use the label genderqueer so you don't feel the need to have a label, or at the moment you just feel like you don't really need to put that pressure on yourself, and that's obviously perfectly okay. You don't need to. But if you are struggling to find your label and you'd like to find your label, I suggest like experimenting with like pronouns, and maybe don't get into the name at the beginning unless you like really hate your name, like obviously, or like you really want to, and or that's like the only thing that bothers you. But like I suggest experimenting with pronouns if you suffer from social dysphoria. And like I'd say at the beginning with your body dysphoria, it's like hard to recognize it, or at least it was for me, and I was like didn't know what it was because I thought everyone went through it, and it was just like based on puberty or something, but like obviously it's not. So like maybe you probably can't do anything about that before you come out if you aren't in a safe environment, or if you just can't do that, you know, can't get anything to help with your body dysphoria. But like try like picturing yourself as the way that you'd think you'd like yourself to be, like for me, like with a flat chest, or like for a trans girl with dysphoria with a not flat chest. You know, just try picturing yourself like that if you can't do anything about it at the moment, and see if you like imagining that to be yourself in your body. And then with like, you could, if you have supportive friends or like friends who are allies or in the community and you know it, then you could like, you know, tell them that you're like questioning your gender, or like I don't know, I'm genderqueer or something, like could you try certain pronouns with me? Then maybe they could help you figure out what pronouns you'd like. And then if you start from like the label, then I guess you could ask your friends, if you have supportive friends, to try gendering you in a different way, or not gendering you at all, or treating you like different on multiple days if you like that. You know, trying to help with your social dysphoria in different ways. And if you don't, then I suggest like trying to do it to yourself, like just gender yourself. If you gendered yourself before, then it might be like normal to just like gender yourself, but if you didn't, it's kind of an odd transition to make. But yeah, so like, you know, when you spill something, you're like, girl, what did I just do? I don't know, that was really weird, but like, you could do that, see how it feels, or like, I don't know, something like that. I was like thinking boy, and then I was like, oh, people say oh boy a lot. I don't know like where they say that, or like where it originated from, but like some people say that, you know. I was just like afraid, and like anyone could say it, so it's like not really referring to anyone in general, so it kind of wouldn't work. That doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, just try like doing that to yourself, or maybe like and it's like, if you misgender yourself or like dead name yourself, don't feel bad about it at all. Like, that happens. It's like, that doesn't make you any less trans, any less non-binary at all. It doesn't make you any less of you to misgender yourself, because it can happen. It happens, and it's just like when someone else misgenders you, just like apologize or don't, it doesn't matter, and move on. It's like, I know it must hurt, like, or it will be funny in some situations, but it's like, if you do that, not your fault. It happens, and you're not any less trans. And so, anyways, finding your label will like take some time, obviously, and you can always go through different labels if you want to, and different pronoun sets, etc. And if you like are at the beginning and figuring out that you like don't like the binary pronoun sets, or maybe you don't even like they them, then you can like figure out that you like neopronouns, or like maybe you can go into there are some like search engines and websites that like let you try out names and pronouns, including like neopronouns or anything, and to see how it feels to make like a sentence with your name and your pronouns in it, to see how that feels with you. So you could also use that. I'll try and find some and link them in the description, or in the comments. Yeah, and like just do that and see how that feels with pronouns or a name. And like again, your label's like so difficult, so like it can change over time. It can be not difficult for some people if it's easy or hard or anything. It's like it doesn't matter. It's different for everyone. Trans experience is different for every trans person or non-binary. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so like you could think that you're maybe like trans, like a binary trans person, and then like later figure out that you're actually non-binary or gender fluid or something. Or it could be the other way around, or you could like think that you're like a demigirl or boy at the beginning, and then figure out that you're like actually a demigirl or boy, but like the opposite of what you were before, and that's also valid. It's like just experiment with different things that you like, pronouns and names and labels and gendering and anything that you'd like. So yeah, but like some common things that happen just like with bodies for feeling uncomfortable in your body just because of your assigned sex, and like not really in terms of like people, like not in terms of like society, but in terms of like your inner being. And like you might not even feel the gender thing there, but like you know like something's wrong, like you're like, why are these on me, like, or like why don't I have these, you know? That was weird. But yeah, any of that, you're just like uncomfortable and you're like, well, I really should just be this, but like why am I this, like, and you don't know why, and you're just like, oh, gender happens. Yeah. And like socially, you're like, why are people calling me this? Wait, I do not like that. I don't like that. And maybe you're just like, oh, I like this. Or like, oh, I don't know what I like, but I do not like that. Like, no thank you. Or if like someone like calls you girl or boy, you're just like, what are you doing? Like, that is wrong. And you just know it's wrong, but you're like, well, wait, whoa, gender. Gender's confusing, okay? Like, you ever feel invalid because you're genderqueer, or you're questioning, or like gender's confusing? Like, gender's confusing, okay? That's a fact. Like, okay, just like, you're so valid no matter what, because gender is so confusing. Anyway, that was an interesting topic, but I hope that helped someone. I don't know if it did or not. Feedback, anyone? Also, I meant to mention that I do have an Instagram, so go check that out if you want to. It's an educational Instagram called lgbtq.edu3, because lgbtq.edu was already taken, and I like 3. That's my favorite number. If you want to learn more about me, that's my favorite number, and my favorite color is green, and that was just a random little thing about me. Well, my walls are green, so you probably don't need that. But anyway, yeah, I do hope this helped someone. If it didn't, I'm sorry. And like, yeah, hopefully that I'll get the chance to like do a video on like how to find your name, or like more ways to cope with dysphoria for FDM or AFAB non-binary people, because I don't know about MTF or AMAB non-binary people who experience dysphoria because I'm FDM. Yeah. Yeah, I do hope this helped. And you're valid, and you're supported, and you're loved, and you're beautiful, and you deserve all the hugs. Okay? Goodbye.